Hello.
Shit, 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 shit. Let's go. What is this? So let's approach this question. Too scary. I'm going. I will not be going here. Not any time soon. I will not come here. Thank you. Thank you very much for your invitation, but I will not. What is this? Why is this place so cold? Why is this place so cold? Okay. I want to go there. Okay. Let's see. Oh no. How do I climb this? Oh, over there maybe. What is this? This this looks like a good place to make my I don't know what. It just feels like a good place to do something, but I don't know what yet. Be the case. Is this fucking unclimbable? This is unclimbable. I can only go down. Can I go here? Okay. Yeah, this seems to be a good place to build Machu Picchu. Definitely. We build Machu Picchu here. Let's mark it down. I mean, not 100% Machu Picchu, but very big possibility of building Machu Picchu here. Hmm. Definitely Machu Picchu potential. So there's a hole here. I don't know how I feel about this hole. How do you feel about this hole? Look how pretty that is. There might have been some potential in Stonehenge, but it's way too small. I don't want to fill that entire thing with dirt, so maybe a random village. Suit that place. Okay, mosquito. Want to see what's over there. How do I go there? Oh, I know. it worked. I was kinda afraid for a second, but shit. There's more over there. What is this place? What the fuck is this? The hell? Oh my god, but the Java 1.0 has so much better generation in Java nowadays. Like 1.7. Nowadays we have even more crazier stuff, but not during 1.7. We didn't have this in 1.7. It's so cool, oh my god. Oh my god, why is this place so cool? Even more? What do you mean there's even more? Oh wait, this is the thing I saw before. Okay, I remember that. Oh, can I jump down? I want to go back to search for Stonehenge. I cooked a bit of it. Not today. I'm fine. Let's go. Bye bye. Big island in the sea. What are you guys doing? I'm just chilling, to be honest. What is this? Creeper's Island. I shall mark this down for the historians. Creeper Isle. Creeper Atoll. Bye bye. Oh, look at this guy. This is pretty cool, I guess. Oh, I was just getting bored. Oh, 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 what is this? Why does every island have a creeper in them? I'll mark it down here. Should maneuver so I don't break my boat. Oh, 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 it didn't break. Where should I go? To the moon. This looks kinda cool, but it's not what I'm searching for. Hmm. Oh wait. Okay. Oh. That looks to be what I'm searching for. Yeah, blah. My mia. Standing hours and hours on the sea to build a mere Stonehenge. Not something I'd like to do. Thank you. Uh, This not my place to come up with these. Hey, give me some. Give him some milk. Give him some milk. Ah, thank God they do not starve in the boat. These are just little island. Mhm. 100 days stranded in the ocean. Alia. Let's get some music in here. I'm bored. How do I avoid copyright? Uh, got Cleopatra. Oh, let's see the slow poison of Endless Fantasy.
He'll do great things, that boy. That's what the village people said about him. Strong, coordinated, talented, smart and charming, the young man felt as though he could become anything he wanted. He stood tall with his shoulders back, and his blue eyes spoke of a steady self-confidence held deep within him. His body was strong, built tough through hours of intensive sword training. After endless hours of sword practice, he began to stroll through the village, back to his home. A number of girls waved to him as he walked by, and he politely waved back. Upon arriving home, he began sharpening his swords, ready for training the next day. Suddenly, a spirit appeared behind him, calling his name. The young man spun around, ready to attack, only to find an incredibly plain-looking spirit floating harmlessly in the center of his room. Neither male nor female, the spirit held an entirely blank expression, neither happy nor sad, as though there was no emotion inside of it whatsoever. The spirit spoke, "Jean of Furthershaw, I am the spirit of seeing." The young man stood, facing the spirit confrontationally. "What do you want?" he said, drawing his sword. The spirit remained completely unafraid. "Only to show you my powers. I can show you anything you can possibly imagine, for I am the spirit of seeing," the spirit replied plainly. The young man observed the spirit carefully. It continued to float passively in the air and seemed to pose no threat. "You can show me anything, huh? Show me the stables of Furthershaw," the young man said curiously. The spirit blew a puff of smoke, and inside the smoke, the stables could be seen clearly. The image of the stables hung in the air for several minutes before disappearing. The young man smiled. "How interesting," he thought to himself. Another idea immediately came to his mind. "Show me the most beautiful girl in the world," he suggested, with a smirk on his face. Without a word, the spirit blew another puff of smoke, and in it appeared the most beautiful girl the young man had ever seen. Her long, dark hair lay delicately over her pretty head. She had big, piercing brown eyes, a delicate nose, and plump lips. One hand lay perfectly on the hips of her gorgeous, hourglass figure. The young man's pupils dilated as he stared at the girl in wonder for a full 5 minutes. Remembering where he was, he cleared his throat and composed himself once again. While he felt slightly embarrassed, the spirit maintained an empty gaze, seemingly unaffected by the young man's embarrassing display. Another idea entered the young man's mind. "Show me a great warrior," he commanded. As usual, the spirit blew yet another puff of smoke, with an image of exactly what the young man had asked for. The perfect warrior stood, looking into the distance, his body toned and muscular, with a stern expression on his face. The young man marveled at this great warrior, pledging to himself that he too would one day be a great warrior just like this man. The young man had had enough. "You may now leave, spirit. I have seen enough," he said, dismissively, as he went back to sharpening his swords. The spirit of seeing spoke without emotion. "I shall remain here, in the corner of your room, ready to show you my powers on your command." The young man shrugged his shoulders.
What is this story about?
The spirit didn't seem to mean him any harm. As the weeks went by, the young man became accustomed to the spirit in his room. He used it to see the weather of the day, to see what his friends were doing, and he even started looking at beautiful girls with their clothing removed. After all, the spirit of seeing would show him anything he wanted. The weeks turned into months. He started leaving his sword training an hour early, and then 2 hours early, and then 3. For the spirit of seeing was far more stimulating than dull, repetitive sword training. The girls in the village waved, but the young man stopped waving back. They were plain, he said to himself. One day, he would find a girl as beautiful as the ones he watched through the spirit, he thought. He began using the spirit to watch great battles. He cheered aloud as his favorite hero turned the tide of the skirmish at the very last minute, watching with eagerness, thinking that one day soon, he would lead his own army into battle. He thought of these battles while he practiced his sword work. He even began reciting lines he had heard his favorite hero speak as he swung. And he would leave training after just a few hours, to rush home and watch a great battle. Not before seeing more beautiful naked girls, of course. A year passed, and the girls in the village had stopped waving. Some had wedded a husband. Most could be heard screaming the name of another boy in the village from the archery range each evening. Apparently, he was skilled with a bow. The young man cursed and muttered under his breath, something about real warriors not attacking from afar. He now trained only for a few short hours, and some days he would skip training altogether. He would walk at a quick pace through the village to get home, uninterested in exchanging pleasantries with the village folk. He had begun using the spirit to watch a number of beautiful naked women perform sexual acts on one another. It seemed now that a single naked woman was no longer interesting. His admiration for his favorite hero had turned into jealousy. He would watch the hero defeat enemy after enemy, the gap between himself and the hero seeming to loom ever larger. He could no longer run much of a distance. His shield felt heavy. His sword skills no longer matched other warriors of his own age. Several more years passed. The young man had given up on becoming a hero. Although he would still rewatch his favorite battles through the spirit from time to time, still unmarried, he had become deeply frustrated and sad. His sword lay quietly in the corner of the room, collecting dust. On the night of his 30th birthday, the man, nearing the end of his youth, sat alone in his room, feeling worse than he had ever felt. The clock struck 12. Suddenly, the spirit of seeing began to laugh. The man was startled. The spirit had never laughed before. In fact, it had never shown any emotion whatsoever. He looked up at the spirit, who caught his gaze. Slowly, the spirit of seeing grew a wide smile. For the first time in 10 years, the spirit spoke. "My work here is done," it said in a deep voice. "What are you talking about, spirit?" the man spoke, fearfully. The spirit laughed again. "I shall reveal what I have kept secret for the past 10 years. I am the ultimate concentration of evil. I am the root of all the darkness in this world. I am the devil himself," the spirit spoke pridefully. The man became terrified, his mouth wide open and speechless. "A demon will attack this village tonight. A prophecy foretold that you were the one destined to defeat it. But it is I that has defeated you. And now the souls of this village are mine," the spirit spoke with a tone of utter glee. "Why wait 10 long years?" the man asked in a shaky voice. "Why not fight me face to face the first time we met?" The spirit let out another laugh. "If I had fought you face to face, you would have conquered me, but I am cunning, and that slow drip of poison given to you through the means of endless fantasy has rendered you too weak to fight. And now, this village is mine." The man could do nothing other than slowly sit down. A deep, dark pain settled inside his stomach, one that he knew would never go away. Only the devil himself could inflict the deep, tormenting, inner anguish he felt pulsing through his mind. The torture in his mind was too much to bear. He needed something to quell the pain. "Can I see those beautiful girls just one more time?" A wide
Did I
grin
not just see
grew
this again?
across the devil's face. "Always." This story was written by James McIntosh and narrated by Chris Williamson. You can find more of our content by checking out the links in the description.
Oh, this looks promising.
The universe is magnificent and vast. Hundreds of billions of galaxies, trillions of stars, and even more planets. If even the tiniest fraction are habitable, then the universe should be teeming with life. And yet we see nothing, only vast emptiness. Where is everyone else? The answer to this riddle could be as exciting as it is creepy. We are early, born before almost all other life. But very soon, this may change. Not only might aliens appear, they could quickly surround us. An irreversible competition for the universe might be about to begin.
It's a bit small.
While this video is based
Is
on
there any
scientific papers,
ancient
we're
like
presenting
stuff
interesting
near the
ideas
ocean? I
based
don't
on
think
little
so,
data
because the
and
ocean
lots of extrapolation.
erodes
So
everything,
take them
so-
with a grain of salt. Okay, we need to look at 3 essential questions to understand the galactic competition. 1. How fast can bacteria build spaceships? To become a starfaring civilization, life as we know it needs to master a number of very hard steps. It starts with dead stuff turning into the building blocks of life. Then it needs to organize into self-contained cells. Those cells have to learn to work together to form multicellular organisms. This keeps going until complex creatures with big brains learn to use tools and language. Civilization has to be formed from cultures that value progress and technological development. And then they need to actually venture out beyond their home planet. On Earth, life appeared basically as soon as the oceans formed. But then it took 2 billion years to make the step from single cells to multicellular organisms, and 2 billion more for us to appear. Culture, civilization, and space travel developed super quickly though. Do things always take that long, or was this actually exceptionally fast? Also, passing one step does not mean the next one is guaranteed. Multicellularity evolved over 25 times independently on Earth, but there's only one species that builds spaceships. We don't know how many steps life needs to pass and how long they take to give rise to a technological civilization,
How
but there
far?
are probably many,
6,000
and it's
blocks,
likely
holy
that
shit.
on trillions of planets, life has been trying for billions of years. Since we don't see any other technological civilizations out there, it might well be that we are a rare exception. We might be among the first, or even the first technological civilization in the Milky Way. But this is just one piece of the puzzle. On top of that, we may have just hit the perfect time window. Why does humanity exist now? The universe is already 13.8 billion years old, but it's unlikely that many other technological civilizations had a chance to appear before us. Because in the earlier universe, life would have had a pretty hard time to emerge, let alone thrive, because it was such a hostile environment. Early stars constantly blew up, galaxies crashed into each other, and supermassive black holes vomited massive amounts of radiation, enough to sterilize galaxies over and over again. Our sun was born right at the end of this cosmic death show. The universe has never been more welcoming to life than it is now. So humanity has arrived at a very convenient spot in time, maybe the earliest reasonably possible for life to thrive. What about the future? The sun burns brighter than 90% of the stars in our galaxy and will keep getting brighter. In about 1 billion years, it will boil all of Earth's oceans and then become a giant that swallows it whole. So in the galactic context, the sun is very short-lived. Most stars are red dwarfs that can sustain habitable planets for tens of trillions of years. Life on these planets has an incredibly long time window to appear and pass the hard steps. Even knowing nothing about how rare or common life is, this makes it way more likely for technological civilizations to appear sometime in the future than in the past. Because if civilizations appear at random in the Milky Way within a time window of 1 trillion years, then very few, if any, would appear before today. Then a couple more arrive in this period of 1 billion years that we're in before all starfaring civilizations that could ever exist emerge altogether. This weird tsunami-like distribution is the result of both the hard steps model and something else. A sort of deadline for any spacefaring civilization. Any civilization coming after will find it hard to have room to survive so all potential life has to cram in before it. Humanity exists now because otherwise we might have missed this deadline. What or who creates this deadline? Why aren't aliens already on Earth? Humans are curious, expansionist, and hungry for energy. We've spread over the world and made it our own. Our technology has been improving over time, first slowly, then breathtakingly fast. If these things don't change drastically and our descendants want to prosper, they will expand into space.
Shit.
We could construct a Dyson
Can I even
sphere
go
for
back to
endless
the phone?
energy and transform planets into new homes.
No,
We could cross
I'm gonna-
interstellar distances, allowing us to reach for planets around distant
I'm
stars.
gonna go this
If we
side.
have the motivation, we can become a galactic civilization. A civilization that does this sort of stuff can be called loud because its activity creates noise, signs that can be detected from far away. Imagine someone in a forest cutting down trees,
Oh, it's
starting
darkness here.
fires, and laying down roads. The more intense their work,
Can I
the
just
easier
search
they
where
are
my
to
home
notice.
is?
An expanding technological civilization would probably be hard to miss. Our telescopes would pick up all that energy, and we would clearly identify artificial interference with stars and planets.
That's my scene.
Another consequence of this business is that it's very disruptive to the environment. Clearing a forest means the end of its wildlife. Human activity has left no chance for a squirrel civilization to appear. Not because we hated squirrels, it's simply that the thought that they might want to do that at some point never crossed our minds, and we needed wood. Similarly, if loud civilizations were running around the galaxy in the past, terraforming planets or harvesting the energy of stars, they may have prevented our existence. Had aliens started colonizing Earth while we were still sludge in the oceans, that sludge would never have turned into humans. This is how loud aliens create a deadline for new civilizations appearing. The galaxy may have trillions of years to create life, but there may only be a short window for it to spread and thrive. Even if a loud civilization respects planets with naturally occurring life and expands around them like humans do with wildlife reserves, any civilization on such a planet would not be able to expand ever, trapped forever on a tiny island. But here we are, so loud aliens were probably never here. What about aliens that don't expand? They would be quiet aliens. They're probably limited to one star system and don't have a noticeable impact on their cosmic surroundings. Humanity is like this right now. We wouldn't be able to detect ourselves from the other side of the Milky Way. If they stay quiet forever, maybe because of their culture or abilities, then they are not really a concern for us. We only have one sample to draw from, humanity, and right now, we are on the path to becoming loud. If we're not special and succeed anyway, then any other civilization with the motivation and resources to would eventually expand beyond its planet of origin. Okay, what are the consequences of all these assumptions and ideas? Grave consequences. Race to the stars. If we are really early, then eventually others will catch up with us. Civilizations will emerge all over the place, and these new aliens will look at space, see no signs of life, and come to the same conclusion. They exist because loud civilizations have not yet taken over everything, but it only takes one loud civilization to crowd them out of the entire galaxy. They, like us, will face an important decision. Do they stay quiet, take it easy, and tend to their planet for as long as possible, or do they start expanding to take a chunk of the galaxy before someone else arrives? Mating others does not necessarily mean war or conflict, but it means that new borders will arise, limits that may persist forever. In the worst case, a civilization could be completely enveloped by the empires of others, eternally doomed to be a galactic backwater without control over their fate. So if we want a seat at the galactic adults table, we best get to work. If we really are early, we have an incredible opportunity to mold thousands or even millions of planets according to our vision and dreams. And one day when we meet others, we can greet them and meet them as equals. Wouldn't that be nice? If you want to explore the vast universe from the comfort of your own home, we've got a lot of amazing space and science-inspired products for you. All of our products are designed and produced with love and care by us here at Kurzgesagt. They're an integral part of the science story we try to tell, so start your journey on our channel and continue it with one of our posters, notebooks or plushes. Every purchase directly funds what we do on this channel. Thank you so much for your support. And never stop dreaming of space adventures. Is there a border we will never cross? Are there places we will never reach, no matter how hard we try? It turns out there are. Even with sci-fi technology, we are trapped in a limited pocket of the universe and the finite stuff within it. How much universe is there for us, and how far can we go? If you look at the night sky, you might assume it will be there forever. Stars born and die again in a cycle that feels endless. But it's not. Take the Milky Way. Up to 200,000 light years in diameter, containing some 100 to 400 billion stars. How many stars do you think are born here each year? Thousands? Millions? The answer is around 3. 3 new stars per year. 95% of all the stars that will ever exist in the universe have already been born, and we live at the tail end of the age of star formation. We are at the beginning of the end of the universe as we know it. The formation of new stars will continue to slow down. But there's more. It turns out that the universe is rushing away from us. The Milky Way is not alone. Together with the Andromeda Galaxy and more than 50 dwarf galaxies, it forms the Local Group, a region of space about 10 million light-years in diameter, our galactic neighborhood. Hundreds of galaxy groups like the Local Group make up the Laniakea supercluster, which itself is only one of a myriad of superclusters. In total, there are around 2 trillion galaxies that make up the current observable universe. Unfortunately, even if we could travel at light speed, around 94% of the galaxies we can see are already unreachable for us forever. Let this number sink in for a moment. The simple fact that there's a limit for us and that there is so much universe that a human will never be able to touch is kind of frightening. Why are all of these galaxies out of reach already? Well, it all has to do with why there are galaxies in the first place, the Big Bang. We're simplifying here, but in a nutshell, about 10 to the power of minus 36 seconds after the Big Bang, the young universe was a very small bubble of energy. It wasn't completely uniform though. Some parts of it were a tiny bit denser than others, which had massive consequences. In a process called cosmic inflation, the observable universe expanded rapidly, from the size of a marble to trillions of kilometers in a trillionth of a second. That was so fast that all those tiny differences in density were stretched from subatomic distances into galactic distances, which is why the whole universe consists of more and less dense regions. Pockets of the universe filled with a bit more stuff than the space around them. After that short but powerful inflation ended, gravity began trying to pull everything back together. Inside the denser pockets, gravity emerged victorious, and so over time, they grew into groups of galaxies like the one we live in today. The Local Group is our pocket of the universe. But at larger scales, outside the denser pockets, the expansion of space never stopped. This means that our Local Group is surrounded by a lot of stuff, but none of those structures and galaxies are gravitationally bound to us. The more the universe expands, the larger the distance between us and the other gravitational pockets becomes. Even worse for us, the expansion of the universe is accelerating. We don't know why this happens, so we came up with the concept of dark energy. You can imagine it like an invisible effect that speeds up the expansion of the universe. We'll explain these concepts in more detail in another video though. For now, all you need to know is that the universe is expanding faster and faster. This expansion means that there's a cosmological horizon around us. Everything beyond it is traveling faster relative to us than the speed of light. So everything that passes the horizon is irretrievably out of reach forever, and we will never be able to interact with it again. In a sense, it's like a black hole's event horizon, but all around us. 94% of the galaxies we can see today have already passed it and are lost to us forever.
Well, shit.
Wait, if we can't interact with them, how come we can still see them? Well, the way we're able to see something is via light. And although the speed of light is the fastest way to travel through the universe, it needs
Why
time to get
doesn't
from
look
one
like?
place
Doesn't
to
look
another.
like another thing.
Every second, light reaches us from trillions of galaxies that have passed the horizon because when their light was emitted, they were much closer to us.
Oh.
We are looking at their ancient past and see their ancient positions. So the observable universe is much larger than the universe we can actually interact with.
Stonehenge
In a
mushroom.
sense, the universe is putting off a great show for us, showing us things that are out of reach forever.
Mushroom
We have
Stonehenge.
no idea what these galaxies look
Is
like
that
today,
possible?
and we will never know. But we will be able to observe them for a
You're
long
not
time
close.
as their light. Interestingly, this means that current
Okay. Where am I? Okay. Mushroom Stonehenge. Oh no, don't break, don't break. Okay, it did not break, thankfully. Look at how many cows there are. It's a little small. It's a bit small. But it's interesting, it's an interesting location. There's another lantern. Let's go, boat. You are here with me because you're the boat. Here's the boat. Yeah. Where are the rest of my balls? Where did it go? What? He's here because he's the boat? He's the boat? Ugh. It's raining rain. Shit. What is that? That's another one. Maybe this one is bigger. Look at those curves. These are some beautiful curves. Ooh. This one looks bigger. Remember guys, bigger is always better. It's a bit smaller than what I like. I can live with it, I think. And the thing is gonna be like 20 meters, 20 by 20 or 40 by 12, 40 and 40, about 30 and 40. Is the smallest. Let's see what the biggest land is like. So this is the biggest piece. So if that is big enough, I'm probably have enough. Since it's a circle, the middle should be on the widest point. Oh gosh, end stream already? Well guys, from here, which is 83. So it needs to be 20, 20, at least 23. It's more than big enough. Stonehenge, but on a Mushroom Island. Let's go! Yeah, you see me do this a lot. Let's go! Let's place this on a place of religious importance. Which is here. By here, I don't know. The center of the island. And let's craft ourselves a chest and settle down. Thank you. Bye bye.